Gary Ridgway, known as the Green River Killer, is infamous for confessing to the murder of at least 49 women in Washington state, earning him the title of one of the most prolific serial killers in US history. But what if there was an unsettling twist to his tale? No evidence, no witnesses, and no bodies. This bizarre reality turned the investigation into a twisted nightmare for authorities. Imagine this: a dense fog clings to the banks of the Green River. In the shadows, fear grips the community. Women begin to vanish, a string of mysterious disappearances that send ripples of concern through the residents of Washington. Families are torn apart, friends are left shattered, and in the chaos, the streets breathe panic. Despite the growing list of missing persons, law enforcement grapples with a baffling reality: there are no crime scenes, no bodies, no solid leads. Each case becomes an eerie echo of the last nothing points to the horrors unfolding in the dark. With each day, rumors swirl about the mysterious figure seen lurking near the river, a man, seemingly invisible, with a sinister presence that leaves a chill in his wake. Tensions rise, but every attempt to uncover the truth leads to more dead ends. Where were the victims? How could someone elude capture so effortlessly? Then, everything shifts. A breakthrough leaves investigators stunned. One afternoon, a man named Colin, rattled and shaken, steps forward. "I know who did it," he claims, his voice barely a whisper. His shocking revelation sends chills down the spines of detectives. "Who?" they urge, leaning forward in disbelief. Colin glances around, making sure no one else can hear. "I saw him by the river. He was talking to one of them, the last woman I saw." Detectives scramble to interview Colin, desperate for any details, but as he speaks, inconsistencies unravel. He can't recall the woman's name, her face, or even when this conversation took place. "It was last week," he stammers, suddenly unsure. Their excitement ends as skepticism creeps in. Could Colin be a witness, or merely another victim of the hysteria surrounding these mysterious disappearances? Desperation pushes them to dig deeper. Weeks pass with no tangible leads. Just as the investigation simmers, it's reignited when police receive a strange message, an anonymous tip describing a hidden location near the Green River. The tip hints at where the missing women could be found, a tiny glimmer of hope cutting through despair. Eager to act, detectives race toward the location, their hearts pounding with anxious anticipation. Every officer grasps at the chance to finally bring the dark specter haunting the community to light. But when they arrive, they find nothing, just a chilling silence that echoes their growing frustration. Then comes another twist: a local fisherman, drawn by the search, approaches them holding an old photograph. "I found this near the riverbank," he says, voice trembling. The image depicts a group of women, all smiling and seemingly carefree. But at the bottom of the photo is a name: Misty's friends. "Misty," one detective mutters, their mind racing back. "She was the first to go missing." Turns out, Misty was known to frequent the local bars, a part of the nightlife scene. As they delve deeper into her circle, they uncover a shocking truth: Misty and her friends were involved in a dangerous gay and underground network of missing women. A disturbing montage of vulnerability and exploitation. But who could orchestrate such a ring? As they investigate further, a chilling realization sets in. Families of the missing women come forward, echoing terror-filled cries of unmentioned connections. All the disappearances share a common thread: each woman had recently been seen with a mysterious man and in a dark jacket, casually slipping away in plain sight. Subscribe to True Crime and Scene now. Just when hope seems to dim, Colin Ray emerges, his determination renewed. "I know where they are. I saw them with him." His frantic insistence rekindles the flames of desperation. But detectives can't shake the doubts lingering in their minds. "Why did you wait so long to tell us?" a detective presses him, eyes narrowed. "I was scared. I thought he would come after me." Colin pleads, but his eyes dart nervously, raising even more suspicion. Suddenly, an unexpected twist jolts them as they check Cohen's alibi and past. They uncover a disturbing revelation: he had a history of psychiatric issues, leaving them questioning the validity of his claims. Asterisk, could he be a misguided witness, or a dark player in this unfolding horror? With the walls closing in, every officer grapples with the unraveling chaos. The connection grows stronger, tightening its grip, as they retrace the steps of the missing women. A familiar name resurfaces: Gary. Asterisk, a man who frequented the same bars, known for his charm, known for his dark tendencies. In a chilling turn of events, data reveals that Gary had been in contact with all the missing women. They discover his last login into his online account and rapidly learn that his whereabouts coincided perfectly with the timeline of the disappearances. But before they can act, the investigation diverges once again. Just as they apprehend Gary for questioning, something else looms: another woman goes missing. Panic reignites. This is all tied together. We need to move fast. The lead detective exhorts, urgency bleeding through his voice. But in the frenzy to stop the impending tragedy, they encounter a roadblock: Gary is gone. With the community reeling and the pressure mounting, they realize that the mystery runs far deeper than they ever imagined. The Green River Killer, whomever it may be, remains at large. The implication of a hidden network, deeper and darker, becomes increasingly evident as the investigation team unearthed shocking connections tying missing women to a man named Gary. A heavy silence fell. Gary was suddenly gone, evaporating into thin air. The unnerving atmosphere thickened, foreboding trouble ahead. The stakes couldn't be higher. The relentless specter of the Green River Killer loomed larger than ever. Imagine a team of detectives standing on the brink of a breakthrough, only to find their main suspect had vanished. Asterisk, what happened to him? Could he have slipped through their fingers? Or was something deeper at play? Tension crackled in the air as the detectives exchanged worried glances. They were racing against time, and they needed answers. While the search for Gary intensified, authorities revisited the places he was known to frequent. Bar after bar yielded no signs, no leads, only a growing sense of dread and frustration. Then, out of nowhere, a breakthrough emerged. A security camera footage from a nearby convenience store showed a figure fitting Gary's description buying gas late at night, just hours after his disappearance. And he wasn't alone. Next to him stood a woman, the same haunting figure seen previously in the photographs of Misty's friends. Format that footage, the lead detective barked, urgency lining his voice. We need to identify her now. As they analyzed the footage, another earth-shattering revelation shook them to their core. The woman had a tattoo on her arm, one that matched a distinct marking on the wrist of one of the missing women. The implications sent icy chills through their veins. Asterisk, they were connected. Where could they be going? One officer pondered aloud, their mind racing. They must be close by. Driven by adrenaline, the team mobilized, retracing Gary's movements from the footage, scouring the back roads and hidden spots near the Green River. Hours passed, each tick of the clock feeling like a hammer to the gut. Would they find them before it was too late? Just as desperation threatened to overwhelm them, a breakthrough happened. A group of fishermen reported strange noises coming from an abandoned cabin nestled along the riverbank. It sounded like someone was yelling for help, one of them exclaimed, wide-eyed with concern. The detectives rushed to the cabin, hearts pounding as they reached the door. With every creaking sound, dread settled deeper into their chests. What would they uncover inside? On three, one at a three, they kicked the door open, and a terrifying sight took their breath away. Inside, they discovered a small room dimly lit by a flickering bulb. The walls were filled with photographs. Faces of the missing women were plastered across every inch, each picture marked with dates, strange symbols drawn underneath as if they were part of a sick ritual. But more chilling was the sight of a woman bound and gagged. In the corner, it was the woman from the footage. "Get her out," one detective shouted as they moved to untie her, hands trembling. It was a race against time to free her, but just as they managed to cut the ropes, another voice echoed behind them. "Pretty neat work, huh?" It was Gary, stepping out from the shadows, a smug grin etched across his face. "You're too late. The game is already over." Before they could react, the atmosphere shifted. Asterisk with terrifying ease, he slipped into the cover of darkness. Asterisk, how had he entered undetected? Where were his accomplices? Every instinct screamed danger. "Don't let him get away," an officer yelled as they scrambled to pursue him. But Gary was cunning. He vanished into the underbrush, leaving only chaos in his wake. "Stay with her. We'll go after him," the lead detective ordered. As officers fanned out, searching for Gary, the woman began to regain her composure. He was going to kill me," she gasped, voice shaky. "I've seen the others there. The ones in the photos. He has a whole place hidden, something evil where he takes them." "Where?" the detective pressed. "Where are they? We need to know if they're still alive." In a moment of clarity, the woman scribbled on a piece of paper, eyes wide with fear. "He mentioned the old mill near the abandoned quarry. That's where you need to go." Heart racing, the detectives exchanged glances filled with understanding. This was the lead they had been waiting for, the key to uncovering the depth of Gary's sinister operations. As they rushed to the mill, another twist awaited them. Upon arrival, they found the structure shrouded in darkness. Every instinct screamed that trouble lay ahead. Entering cautiously, they could smell the stench of damp earth and decaying wood. "Split up, search every corner," the lead detective commanded, voice echoing through the darkness. But as they ventured deeper, a bone-chilling presence wrapped around them. They unearthed remnants of past horrors, evidence of makeshift sleeping areas, ropes hanging ominously from beams, and unsettling symbols scrawled in the dirt. But still, asterisk, no sign of the missing women. Then, just as they regrouped to share their findings, an ominous noise echoed through the mill. A heavy door creaked open in the far corner, and for a moment they stood frozen, heartbeats racing. What could be lurking inside? "On three and again," the lead officer said, fists clenched tightly. "One at A3. They rushed forward, shoving the door wide open to reveal a chilling sight, a hidden chamber filled with the haunting remnants of Gary's twisted mind maps covered in red markers, newspaper clippings of every missing woman he had claimed, and a chilling wall adorned with their photographs. But more shockingly, in the corner, empty chains dangled from the ceiling. Their hearts dropped as they realized the implication. He must have had them here. "Where are they?" one detective shouted, panic creeping in. "What has he done?" Just then, footsteps echoed behind them. They spun around, but before they could react, a larger shadow loomed in the doorway, another man, larger and more intimidating. Asterisk, stepping into the dim light, flanked by other accomplices. "You've been poking your noses where they don't belong," the new figure growled, a smirk curling on his lips. "You should have left this to the professionals." As chaos erupted, the officers fought back, adrenaline surging with every punch thrown. But in the frenzy, they realized something far worse. Gary had an entire underground network. Asterisk, this wasn't just about a single killer. It was a whole web of terror intertwined beneath the surface. And now they were standing right in the center of it. Subscribe to True Crime and Scene now, before we will be gone.